the Science Center, Science Museums, and our endeavor is always to cater to the requirement of school students particularly. And nowadays, as far as the school students are concerned, whenever I visit any school or any institutions, there is a lot of buzz going on about the new education policy. And people are really not very comfortable in identifying the issues related to new education policy. What are the requirements, how to handle, a single input I have received from various principals has been that the principals, respective school management, the principal, they need to submit a lot of reports. So that is the only outcome that I have received, and I thought let me dwell into the detail of the new education policy. And while going through the new education policy and the Indian knowledge system particularly, vis-a-vis the activities of Science Center, I saw a tremendous parallel which is going on. And this parallel, mainly there are so many parallels, but the basic parallel that I found was on 4 counts. One is the philosophical alignment of the Indian knowledge system and the new education system. Then after philosophical parallel, the pedagogical parallel exists between the two. Then the linguistic and cultural root, which is mentioned in new education policy, which also existed in the Indian knowledge system. And finally, the institutional structures that is being talked of in new education policy as well as the Indian knowledge system. And surprisingly, knowingly or unknowingly, all these parameters we are getting to, all our activities that we take up as a curator of Science Center particularly, these are also getting strength from the knowledge system vis-a-vis the experiential learning or hands-on learning, the mentoring part particularly, the old mentoring system, Guru, Shishya Parampara, all those things which we unknowingly carry out in day-to-day activity as a Science Center communicator, as a Science Center management team. So, if you connect these dots, I was trying to find out what are the various parameters, what are the various domains whereby we as a Science Center can contribute to the requirement of the schools, requirement of education institutions, as well as far as the meeting the requirement of new education policy is concerned. So when you connect these dots, the 3 triangles if you can make related to the Indian knowledge system, related to the new education policy, and then if you go back and take care of our Science Center activities, you will immediately come to know where exactly you will fit in. And there are certain domains, there are certain gray areas where I will give you the feedback where the Science Center needs to do a lot. So in my deliberation, we will be discussing about those. Coming to the philosophical alignment, as the Indian knowledge system talks of the whole personality development, the same exists in the new education policy, because nowadays instead of the completion of the syllabus, rote learning, the overall holistic development of the child is emotional well-being, is spiritual well-being, all those things are being taken care of. So the child as a whole is taken, including the academic. Definitely the academic part is very, very important, but at the same time other activities related to his overall emotional development or spiritual development or something that was slightly left in the back seat So now that has come forward, and that was also prescribed in our ancient Indian knowledge system in the form of Panchkosha, which says that the child comprises of the 5 layer of personalities. The human existence is in the physical form, then vital form, then mental form is also important, and the intellectual and the bliss. So all these, in the Indian knowledge system, ancient Indian system, which is thousands of years old, and now which is being captured by the policymakers in the form of the national education policy. That is mentioned. Then another factor, as far as the philosophical approach is concerned, that is related to the multidisciplinary approach. For example, earlier the casting was very rigid. For example, as you may be aware, that if you are from the science stream, the options for taking other subjects related to other streams was it was impossible. Now that the wall has been broken, and now as per the new education policy, we can opt for it. This is also in line with the ancient knowledge system, whereby for a complete holistic development of a child, it was prescribed that 64 colors are to be known, including art, music, painting, all those things. So that we are coming back. It's good. And those are the domain area whereby we need to sit down and think where exactly the science center can, because everything cannot be implemented at a school level, that too where the infrastructure is weak. Then this is talking of the philosophical aspect of alignment between the new education policy and the Indian education. Now coming to the pedagogical parallels, of course that I've already told you, we are doing it in the form of experiential learning, hands-on learning. That was also prescribed in ancient Indian knowledge system, and that is also prescribed nowadays in new education policy 2020. So that is another very, very important shift as far as the new education policy is concerned. The more emphasis is given on the critical thinking from the child, whereby the child is prompted to ask critical questions related to the subject matter instead of simply wrote and reproduced in the exam. So coming back to the third point, which is very, very important after philosophical and pedagogical parameter is concerned, is the linguistic. So similar to the Indian ancient knowledge system, which heavily dependent on the oral, local form of knowledge impartation, the local or the mother tongue is again back in the knowledge education, new education policy. And Sanskrit as it is, because Sanskrit, as you all know, is a huge repository of ancient information. It's no more a dead language, and the efforts are being again made for reviving this language and some sort of teaching Sanskrit in the form of the language, as well as once you learn the language, you can come back and see the huge amount of repository of knowledge which exists in Sanskrit language. So that is another linguistic and cultural roots are given importance to in this new education policy, which was already existent in the ancient Indian knowledge system. And final point after these three, the fourth point is the institutional structure. So the flexibility now exists as per the new education system. The flexibility, if you are not interested in completing the entire course, there are exit paths whereby after completion of 1 year or 2 year or 3 year, you can exit courses whereby your efforts will not go waste. The credit will be accumulated in your account, and you may be awarded with a certificate or diploma or a degree. depending upon which year you exit, and if you complete, it's all good. So this is again going back to the ancient knowledge system, whereby the students were free to move on to one university to another Gurukul. So all those flexibility exists, which is again the part of. So these are the four philosophical points or the main parallels which exist within the new education policy. And so we move on to the next slide, and the ancient knowledge system. So now, as we see the directive that exists in new education policy, the effort is always to come up with a bigger institution, one bigger institution in each district. That is the vision. So all those universities, small schools, or other affiliated universities, those will come under a single umbrella. So the effort is to come up with a single larger educational institutions of learning. So this is again, if you talk of ancient universities, which I have already emphasized upon, go for the Takshashila. Then if you go to Vikramshila, Nalanda University, it was like, a small city kind, whereby more than 50,000 students could be accommodated along with the 2,000 teachers. So this is another parallel which I see, and which existed in the ancient Indian knowledge system. And moving on to the next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. Now, the experiential learning, as you all know, if we go for the STEM learning process, now the art, it has now already been converted into the STEAM. Art is already there. So, catering to the STEAM requirement, for example, in science centers, we create a lot of experiential museums. For example, we recently visited War Memorial Ambala. As it is, history particularly is, if it is taught through a simple chalk and talk, that becomes very boring. So the experiential learning is the key line or the key facility which needs to be brought forth. In this particular case, which I am talking of, well, it's not yet been inaugurated, but it's a similar project was done in Man Mahal, Varanasi, by National Council of Science Museum, whereby the history, spirituality, and all the local, there are so many local skills are there which are attached to the Banaras as a city. So all those were put up in the form of an experiential museum in Varanasi, in Banaras, in Man Mahal. If you happen to visit there, so in such a small area, in such a huge repository of information, if you go through this particular experiential museum, in a matter of 2 hours, you can be abreast of almost everything related to the Varanasi as a city, its various crafts related to it, and then the spiritual aspect especially of the Varanasi city. So once you go into the experiential domain, things becomes very easy, very entertaining, and you are able to hook on to the young student particularly. I'll be talking to you at a later stage in new education policy. There are earmarked bagless days, whereby the students are not supposed to come with a heavy bag full of books and academic related things. So they'll be free to come bagless. And then, these are the places whereby the science centers and the science museums, they need to create experiential kind of environment whereby they can learn art, history, science, geography, whatever they feel like, there's a specific domain, because these experiential spaces cannot be created at the school level. That is where, I find the Science Center and the Science Museum can play a very critical role. And there are various new technologies, because nowadays the technology has to be used to the maximum possible extent. And new technologies, we have National Council of Science Museum particularly has come up with in various exhibitions. For example, in the inaugural session, people were talking of knowledge on sphere facility, which Dr. Durgesh once saw. 2 minutes. Okay, and so in Lucknow, so that facility, for example, we have built earlier, it was imported, and now we can share that knowledge with the fraternity of other science museums, which can be utilized for catering to this kind creation of this kind of experiential spaces which will be required as per the requirement of new education policy. And another very, very important thing that Nancy SM particularly No Zone is doing, I'll request all of you to also get into it, because it will require a lot of time and effort. NCRT has already come up with new books, NEP 202 till I think 8th standard. So I'll request all of you to go through those books and come up with some interactive exercise, some hands-on exercise on each and every topic. Because there I saw some vacuum, or I saw some requirement as far as the science museum professionals are concerned. We need to provide them some hands-on experience, some experiential experience advice is to be put in, that if you go to, for example, Ambala Memorial, you'll find some really beautiful things related to the history of Ambala as far as the participation of in first war of independence, 1857 was concerned. Because prior to that, nobody knew Ambala really participated in first war of independence. Everyone was focused on the merit was the whole center. But after this, it was an eye-opener for me also. So the right fact related to the history, geography, and any other domain need to be brought in, and it's to be seen that things are put in place. Our effort will be where, how to utilize the bagless days, whereby, the schools expect the students not to come with their book. How to create, how to provide them the experience of utilizing that particular time, because if that time is utilized, it will be enormous, and the popularity of our science centers and science museum can be straight away by the young students, which we are talking of Develop India 2047, because most of the effort that will be put in would be the students which are already there in the school. So this is the next, we need to put in many efforts in that line, and there were so many other things are there. I'll discuss on some other occasion, but the essence is let us draw inspiration from the magnificent legacy that the Indian knowledge system carries, and recommit ourselves to building an education system that is innovative, inclusive, and rooted in our civilizational wisdom. With that, I would like to conclude and urge you all go through new education policy document and the textbooks whatsoever has come up in the market through NCRT, and let us, because in inaugural section, Dr. Durgesh talk of the networking. So all the facilities, all the galleries that need to be known, but at the same time, I would further add to it interactive section, the experiential section that you prescribe to the young school kids. that need to be shared, because if I'm working, I've worked on some good interactive hands-on experience for the students in my center in NSC Delhi, that need to be shared to all of you so that you at your local school can further transmit that kind of experiential learning for the benefit of the society. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Vijay. If you have questions, so we will take it to the end of the session, because we just finish off the presentation. My colleague co-chair is going to summarize, but at the end of the session. So now next is yet another director from Nehru Science Center, Mumbai, Sri Umesh Kumar, who's going to, I don't know the topic, of course, again. Umesh has been director of Nehru Science Center for a number of years now. Prior to that, he was head of the Raman Science Center in Nagpur. Before that, Science City, Lucknow. A number of years he has worked in NCSM, very experienced, especially activity-based science learning. So I'll request Sri Umesh Kumar to make his presentation.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Dr. Co-Chair, Sri Mangarji, all friends. First of all, thanks to UCOST and NCSM as well, my own organization, for giving this opportunity and hosting this 21st All India Conference of Science Museum and Science Center. My basic theme you all know is the future of science museums and science center, and I have chosen the sub-theme science communication, looking back to look forward. I will try to summarize what we had in the past and how we have arrived up to this. Yeah, you can just keep it changing. This will attempt in this presentation will throw some light on transformation of science communication from far past to future via historical roots and current state. We'll also try to learn something about the evolution of science centers and their approaches for science communication. Just a quick recap. Science communication refers to presenting science-related topics to non-scientists and non-scientific communities. It involves appropriate skills, media activities, and dialogue to create one or more of the personal responses to science. Basically, you can see here the 5 vectors: awareness, enjoyment, interest, opinion, formation, and underestimation. Basically, this is overall approach. The next slide. So science communication basically bridges gap between the complex world of science. They also require appropriate skill, interpersonal communication. Creator and the public who are the end user of these products of science and technology. Science communication and evolution of the science both are intervened as science has evolved. Science communication also has evolved. The tools, approaches of disseminating scientific information and also the public understanding, appreciation and perception of science, all have changed, all have evolved. And now we call it science communication, which is very, very important. It has adapted to the need of ever-changing world. Let us see how. A little snippet from SciComm history. Now we call it as SciComm, which is very much a buzzword. But it's basically SciComm is this portmanteau of science and communication, basically 2 words taking first letters from there. But the thing is, how were scientists and public mass communicating when science, when there was no academic publication or internet? Let us see how it has happened. Science communication has been there from the primordial form of in the time beginning, you can say. About 150,000 years to 200,000 years ago. This is when perhaps human and Neanderthal they lived concurrently, and the origin of language debate in this period was the first evidence of past, present and future tense, where we created the time. Around 40,000 years ago, there was a sudden boom of various tools. Obviously, they were not prepared or any scientific instruments, but symbols and icons portrayed specific concepts like river, mountains, and fire. And then, since then onwards, as we know, Bhimbetka and many other things we know about the wall painting, etc. Hunter-gatherers, they kept more detailed wall paintings of their daily activities to record their everyday activities, which animals were good for eating, what fruits were ripe for picking, what were their relationship with the land. Imagine a graphical abstract of method, just like that you can see in the picture, the wall paintings. Then suddenly there was some philosophy came for knowledge sharing, and there were some great people when we talk about science or history, it's the history of science and technology. Around 2,600 years ago, Greek philosophy began in the ancient city of Miletus. From 2,500 years ago, Confucius greatly influenced, particularly in East Asia, in terms of social science, including morality, also education involved. What should be done, what should not be done, all those things. He also advocated making education more broadly available. Then the period of Socrates and Plato, that comes. Socratic teachings were centered around the idea that knowledge is important in order to live a good life. And with this came this wise idea as we need to conduct meaningful debates and we need to share knowledge with others. That was need of the hour at that time. After that, about 100 years from then, suddenly Aristotle came on floor, who was the resident of Plato. He pioneered the scientific method and dabbled in all of the natural sciences and mathematics. He was also instrumental in spearheading the practice of recording scientific observations in writing, allowing future scientists to validate his work. Then around 1300 years at the beginning of Renaissance, though some people call it as 1200 also or even before, 1436, the invention of printing press. That is a landmark, so far as science communication is concerned, by Gutenberg, allowing the first automation of book printing, which increased accessibility of sharing manuscripts with other scientists. Then 1452 to 1519, the time of Leonardo da Vinci, who throughout his life was credited as an inventor with a talented hand at applying art to communicate complicated concepts. Examples of invention including the parachute, early prototypes of flying machines and self-propelled cars. During the entire period of this, many scientists, artists, polymaths, they preferred to communicate their ideas and observations in diagrammatic form with detailed labels. We have all seen, I think, some of the galleries find like Michelangelo's work or Galileo's work in observational astronomy. Even we have seen some of these Leonardo da Vinci's triumphs in our galleries. The next please. 1530 then came the empirical knowledge, where we call method of deduction, induction, all this came on floor. They took hold of minds of the most scientists. Empiricism is a philosophy that all knowledge can only be derived from what we sense. But here a new concept also comes into picture. If everything is true, must be said, then what did this imply for religious belief, which are often based on intangible, we don't see them. And as you would imagine, there caused some major disagreement between scientists and the religious authorities. We know the story of Galileo, Copernicus, and with this came the rise of skepticism in science. Then start of scientific societies in 1660s, the Royal Society, now it's called Royal Society of London, was founded as the first scientific society in the world and was originally aimed at natural philosophers and medical physicians. Their motto to these days, nullus in verba, which literally translated from the Latin, take nobody's word for it. So basically the idea is you do some experimentation, observation and verify it, which is written on their website as well. The next page. 1665, Royal Society launched the first issue of Philosophical Projection, the world's oldest journal. And the journal was the first to present the idea of scientific priority, what gets funding, and peer review also comes in. Now we talk a lot about peer review whenever we are publishing any paper in journal. 1731, the launch of the world's first fully peer review journal, Medical Essays and Observations from the Society of Edinburgh. 1800, public lectures became highly popular as means of expert to educate the public in both the science and arts, which was common. We observed, I think, late in this century in India as well, particularly in Calcutta, we have had a lot of, in town hall, a lot many such lectures by leading scientists. 1826, Joseph Nisfi invented the first permanently fixed photograph. This was by building technology, which is, we have an exhibit called camera obscura, same technology which was there in 1058 years ago. 1888, Louis Lipins created the first camera which he could capture the motion video. This technology was still very much in its infancy, but the world will one day be advanced enough to capture nature in all its beauty. Photography and cameras then evolved so much, making their way into advanced microscope. The electron microscope, the first micrograph of a virus which was taken in 1935. 60s to 70s, scientific poster sessions became a norm in the academic community. One history blog reports that the original 1960 scientific post only uses images and diagrams, there were no text. But by late 70s, some academics could not help it but write an entire essay on that. And the practice continues still. Giving more, nowadays we talk about infodemic, or when we have more and more information, something more if you know how to digest that. In 1987, authors Geoffrey Thomas and Thomas Durant, they published an opinion piece that suggested new ways to benefit science, economy, government bodies and society as a whole. Public understanding of science or scientific literacy. The world needed to increase their effort in teaching and informing scientific matters to the masses. But in order to teach, people needed more access to the literature. What to do? In 1983, on January 1st, we had the internet. 1987, the launch of Flora Online, debated to be the world's first open access journal. 1994, Britannica launched the first digital encyclopedia. But the one important thing is, if you have more information, it doesn't mean that more people will understand it. Neither would be this effectively engage people. So that's how the concept of deficit model of science literacy deficit model came. Nowadays, called it infodemic, particularly during Corona period. This word was buzzword, infodemic. So much of it. Next, please. Then tech boom came. In 3 minutes, I will do slide. Okay. Then I have to leave something as it is. In the tech boom of 19s through to the new millennia, our communication channel evolved drastically, taking long distance broadcast media. We now talk about Wi-Fi, internet, mobile phones, etc. The tools offered unprecedented opportunity for scientists and public to really engage, and now they are used by just everyone. And next. In 2004, okay, but then we can quickly, now we know the scientific cycle. Yeah, just go back. One more. Back. Yeah, this way. So I think you are going forward. Back way. Evolution of science centers will come. Going forward. Back one more. Yeah, no, okay. So now a brief history of science centers also quickly. Science Museum Center, Wonderlo, actually they have rich history. They have come from humble beginning to cutting edge institutions. The evolution of science centers mirrors humanity's ceaseless quest for knowledge. Early roots we know they were in cabinet, they were restricted to the individuals. They have brought it into the form of museums. So just go next one. 19th century directly we are going, the birth of popular science museum. In 19th century witnessed birth of many museums, institutions like the Chess Museum in Munich. 1903 aimed to make science accessible to general public. museums combined educational exhibits with interactive displays. And this becomes diorama, means interactive push was there. Then came tremendous change or notice in Science Center in 20th century, conservation of historical instruments and science. In fact, there were early 19th century or 20th century, there were two. Initially we had the models, and later on we discarded that and came to learning by doing approach. That were the two. But when we came in mid-century, 20th century, we had our own science centers like Birla Museum, VITM, Nehru Science Center, along with the Exploratorium, Toronto, Ontario Science Centers, all those came into picture. Popularity of science centers showed globally, particularly Science Museum in London, 87, and Smithsonian National Aerospace Museum in Washington. They drew millions of visitors. 20th century saw the establishment of regional and specialized science centers. In 21st century, Science Center continued to evolve, integrating cutting-edge technology, innovative approaches to engage audience, digital interactives, virtual reality, collaborative research initiatives. They have become integral components. The approach changed to hands-on, minds-on body, in which we talk about immersive experiences. The next one. As we navigate to now we are going to the future of science centers. From exhibition, now they are more of an ecosystem. They are of rapid advancement of technology, robotics, artificial intelligence. How do science centers respond in a way that builds inclusivity and makes science accessible or popular for all? To keep the pace with time, latest developments and promote a desire for curiosity and scientific exploration beyond its one. To truly resonate with youth, a generation fluent in digital interaction nowadays, engagement must be driven by digitally integrated and immersive experiences. What if science center visitors could be equipped with their own AI-powered digital twin? A personal alter ego that develops skills and gain points based on visitors' engagement and on-site activities. Digital twins become personal science coaches throughout the on-site experience and continue to be via personal devices even after visitors left the science center building. Many new science centers, they are already prioritizing digital integration right from the start and offer visitors opportunity to engage in real science and technology on-site and at home. Science centers in Singapore, I think, Joanne Lake Garden, they are planning in 2027 where they will feature a digital lab where residents will be able to monitor real-time data from on-site experiments and samples throughout Internet of Things, equipment engaging directly with scientific discovery via their personal learning devices, whether at school or at home. The importance of personalization, that's I think, the new thing we need to adopt. One of the most significant shifts in future science center lies in personalizing the experience to the individual. Traditional one-size-fits rarely work anymore. This is where some smart exhibits come into play. They will map out a visitor's learning journal and individual needs and respond with the most relevant engagement tools and content. Use of behavioral science allows us to conceptualize and design experiences that adapt to the audience's needs based on their learning profile. Behavioral science acknowledges that people connect with information more deeply when it feels relevant and personal. I'm just coming to end here. Beyond the science center's wall, for science centers to remain relevant, their experiences need to expand beyond walls. The core idea behind this is the organic science center, which is a dynamic one, where things will keep on changing. And finally, the point we want to make it, something which can be created when you are there at the science center, something based on your profile, you can say, your interest, something can be created on fly mode. So it makes complex technology like AI, robotics accessible for fun through gamified interactive elements. Visitor can even opt in for a personalized journey using facial recognition. Their progress is recorded in the digital playscape passport, extending the learning long after they leave the building. Yeah, next one. Finally, to be true to future-proof, Science Center must be able to measure their impact and continuously evolve. This requires real-time data analysis on visitors' experience. The cloud-based platform tracks a wide range of data points, including exhibits, heartbeat, and health, session duration, user interaction, allowing exhibits to become responsive and adaptive. Through the ability to anonymously follow visitors' activity and progress, on and off-site program can be adopted on the fly to have maximum impact. So this is the conclusion. The science centers of tomorrow's is more than a building. It's a living, evolving network that nurtures lifelong curiosity. By embracing smart technologies, personalized learning and digital extension, science centers can empower youth to see themselves as part of scientific process. This shift turns visitors into active participants, co-creators and future innovators. And finally, for those ready to break from tradition, the opportunity is clear to build inclusive, adaptive spaces where science is not just learned, but lived. That's all I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Again, we will have, Vijay name, Umesh. We'll have questions at the end. Please write down your questions to the speaker, whom you want to address it. Now request इनाम Dattni, Director of the Param Science Center. Where is this place? Bangalore. Please remember you have 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Put a timer.
I'm keeping a clock.
Sure. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. So before I start, I'm Gen Z, so I see things a little differently, but I'm surprised to say that pretty much very similar to what other people have summed up, so I'm not going to be very different, so I'm going to try to put it in context. For me, one simple basic point, right? The world is increasingly spending more time on experiences and DIY activities, but average time a person spends, people spend more time outside, but the average time a person spends in a science center globally has gone down drastically. So this comes to the question of the relevance of a science center. Very strict, very straightforward, right? Going forward, I just looked at, standard data globally. You can say, okay, you have more science centers, more visitors will come globally. But the average amount of visitors per science center reduces, right? So what is the relevance in all of this, right? It begs the question. So putting this into a simple context, right? Today, at least in most cities, in most major towns, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and I'm pretty sure, give it 5-10 years, every person has access to smartphones. Enough edutech marketing. There are 3,000 edutechs in Bangalore alone, each one pushing their own content, their hyper-personalized content and their tools, their interactive models, museums in the boxes, museums on wheels, which we have also many hundred things. Malls, every mall, if you go to any mall in Bangalore or in most cities, you'll see their equipment, you'll see experiential, you'll see hubs coming up, you have offers, 3D printers. So really, if you want to experience exhibits, you can do it at home or in a mall or in a shop. So in this, what is the science center? That is what I personally keep asking myself, and it keeps me awake at night a lot of times, to be honest. So putting this into context, I said, okay, let's dig deep. Let's look at what we do in a nutshell, right? So pretty much some of the things that are already there, experiments, knowledge archival, education. I said, okay, what other space does all of this? Any thoughts? The answer was already there in one of the previous things. Guys? Okay. So move forward. One thing I realized, temples. Not today's temples, but look at temples of the past. What were they? Community hubs, right? Spaces where people can come learn. Where spaces where things were archived. Spaces where data was collected. Spaces where ideas were shared. Spaces of collaboration. Space of education. Spaces of social innovation. Whatever was required by society, right? Where what problems that actually needed to be solved. Not problems which people think they want to solve, right? Problems that people actually needed to be solved, right? So these are places of true collaboration. Now, why is this relevant? Let me get there. One simple story. Around 3,000 years ago, two civilizations discovered the radius of the Earth. Any guesses? Yeah, the answer is there. First one, astronomy and poetry. This is what temples gave rise to. And I'm saying, if this is the culture that you build, you cannot, science and culture cannot go separately. They have to go hand in hand. So why this? Pretty much, the simple ways, which pretty much everybody looking back, science enters the Indian way. So when we say it, when we look at IKS, very simple, Shastra, dialogue. You cannot have a dialogue with an exhibitor. You need people. Manana, reflection, repeatedly. And Anubhava, doing it yourself, not inside a building. Anywhere and everywhere. So why I say this? Explanations become questions. Concepts and topics, enough. Google it, YouTube, Byju's, 100 things. Challenges. Self to community. Discipline to transition. Ideas to open source. Why am I saying all this? You guys know pretty much, but to give you a more context, what I see science centers as living labs. So people don't experience exhibits, they come to become the experiment. An experiment to see if they can become an innovator to solve challenges. So one is exposure to ideas, great. One is learning to identify problems relevant to them and finding a place to solve it. Right? Number one. Having a community and expertise to support this journey, very important. And very important, anybody with a place to show your ideas. I have an idea, but doesn't mean it's going to work. I need validation, I need feedback. Right? I need from a farmer to an entrepreneur, a place to validate it. Essentially a community hub of experiments. Let me explain very quickly. So, in a nutshell, I'm saying science centers have to enable science as a way of life, innovation as a way of thought. I know, grand words, what do I mean by it? Simple, let me show some simple examples. A simple entrepreneur wants feedback. Where are you going to go today? Exactly. You have incubators, you have incubation hubs, but I need feedback. Incubation hubs have enough management people and enough things. Where do we have space? Where do you have people from all age groups? Where do you have ideas? Where do you have equipment? And where do you have a network of expertise? You guys know the answer. Number one. Moving on. One simple story. We all have seen urinals, right? And some of you might know the story. So, Amsterdam airport, they had this problem. They wanted to create a splash-free urinal. Okay? So you go to a mathematician. What do you think the mathematician did? Came up with nice new geometries, topologies to say, okay, this is going to ensure there's no splash. You go to a chemist, someone who does chemistry, purely just a disciplined chemistry alone. What do you think they're going to do? Some new material which will reduce splashback. Right? So guess what the janitor in the final answer came to a janitor in the Amsterdam airport? Took a sticker of a flight, stuck it on every airport, every urinal. 80% reduction in spillage, 8% reduction in cleaning costs. That is also innovation. And it is not discipline, it is transdiscipline. So when I mean there is no wrong solution anybody can innovate, even a janitor can come, get ideas and go forward. Moving this forward, if you ask me a chartwala, when it comes to a science center, I should say, okay, dry ice, I'll put in my pani puri or golgappa and I'll start frothing white. I'll be the most competitive chartwala on the street. Exactly. So, I mean, you guys know all these. Or a child comes in, the first thing they should say is not, oh, I learned what cement is or I learned that. No, I have a pothole every day in front of my house. Can I start fixing it? Now I go try, what do I do? I take some stones and I put it, it'll fail. Doesn't matter. Now I need a place to go and check. Come to the science, discuss new ideas, go back, maybe try something new, discuss, go back, try something new, iteratively approach and fail. That is the culture we have to do, that agency, that epistemic growth, right? So, in a nutshell, what I'm going to say is science centers need to evolve into community-owned platforms like ancient temples. So every person can be an innovator. Very, very important because there are enough science centers. Every park is a science center. Every home, your kitchen is a science center. You don't need a lot of equipment. You need the right mindset. Right? We say all of this, yes, grand ideas, easier said than done, yada yada. Because Sir has clearly said, personalization is the way forward. How do we do all this? What is the one thing that makes platforms sustainable? Right? Very clear. Right? At the end of the day, who's going to pay for it? Or who's going to come? Who's going to join you? Right? Biggest platforms in the world. The answer is very simple. Google, Facebook, all of this. What do they look for? Oh, that's good. Yeah, next one. Yeah. Next, last. Oh, sorry. I think. Sorry. So, what do they look for? What is the way to monetize?
Information online.
Data.
Data.
Very simple. When you have a platform and many people come together, the simplest thing is data. And if you want to build, whether it's personalized journey or anything, data. And what are science centers? There are hubs built to collect the best sovereign data set that we can build. Interaction, engagement, learning. Right? Rather than just video text data that OpenAI or anybody does. Living data sets, sovereign data sets, which startups, researchers, anybody can do. So the more people we invite on board, the better it is. So if you ask me what is the future of a science center, I'm saying not for the sake of money, but the sake of value. Science centers can generate $1 billion in revenue if we can actually start collecting the data. And if we can actually find the right way to utilize it. Whether it's open source. All of you would have heard of the ANRF grant. This year's ANRF grant is giving out 30 crores, up to 50 crores for just creating data sets. And you're able to, the scale of data, the value of data is everything. Whether, how Umesh sir said, anybody said, hyper-personalization, anything. Data is the core of it. And if tomorrow we want to impact 1 billion people, how they learn, how they engage, every kid that comes in, you want to tell them what they can do, right? Or whether they can learn themselves. We are no one to lecture them. They know. Today they are smart. How do we do it? Simple, the answer is data. So sorry, the other slide somehow got cut, but this is in the nutshell what I wanted to tell. So if you're, and this is exactly what we are out to build. So if you're interested, hit me up. Thank you.
You still have 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So any questions? So, yeah. So, to put in context, right now we are actively working towards converting our science centers into purely data centers. I mean, not purely, one of the things. We call it Project Octopus. I know, ambitious, but we got to try. And that is precisely why I would also request all of you. One of India AI Summit is happening. Let's go there. Let's all be part of it. And science centers, I say it again and again. As Sumesh sir also said and everybody else said, it is not the building. We have to become temples. Every home has a mini temple. You become just because you have a temple at home, that doesn't mean you stop going to temple. No. It's where community comes together. So that's what we have to become. Exhibits are changed. Topics are gone. I personally don't learn through concepts anymore. Challenges are better. So this is in a nutshell. I said a lot of things, but thank you.
Thank you, Namaste. Very nice.
Just one.
You have a question you want to ask rather than...
One point.
Okay.
Just it came to my mind. That what you are talking about, I think, is kind of democratization of curatorial practices.
That is one of the things.
One of the things.
Democratization of curatorial
Now
practices.
we are approaching a thing called co-curation,
Yes.
where you bring the local communities to share their ideas, and then the object is actually built.
Exactly, sir. The only thing is too many ideas in one presentation, too much. So the core of the presentation was data. But I completely agree with you. Democratize curation, democratize data, democratize experience, democratize the ownership of the science center. The community should own it, not curators, directors, science center staff.
Because in our science centers or museums, it is only the curator.
Exactly, sir. You got the nail on the point. Thank you.
So, from building museums to devisualizing museums to going to community to developing their own museum setup, Science City concept initially began not with a 45-acre land. The idea came that each corner or city of the New York should become a science center. Each corner of the city. That's why you call it Science City. Okay. The Science City was not a concept of 45 acres, what you have in Calcutta initially. Anyway, now there is a proposal. We are getting too late for lunch. Do you want to continue after lunch this session or we want to finish? Huh?
How many speakers do we have?
You have two more speakers.
Two more complete. Let us complete.
No, the lunch will go beyond 3 o'clock.
We have already taken 2:45. We are again calculating.
Okay. So you are already having pakoda, so you have enough energy right now. So we calling now Sri Rupesh Kumar Pradhan, Deputy Director, Sikkim Science Center, Namli. So your presentation, please. Remember, 15 minutes.
A very warm and cordial namaskar from all the way from Sikkim, a small place, to this region, Almora. Since this is my first time presenting, so I may have doubts. So over here, with due respect of our chairperson and co-chairperson, I would also like to thank our this Uttarakhand State Council for Science, Technology and National Council of Science Museum for giving this opportunity where we can come together under one roof to talk about only one thing, that is science and technology. So how to popularize this topic to the community. So thank you. You not only have brought us to this under this one roof, but also have tried to build a relationship, a bond, I think a very strong bond which says no color, no reason, no religion, caste, no age barrier, a bond of friendship. Thank you for this opportunity. So I would like to present my presentation over here. So as you all know that I am from Sikkim, Deputy Director, Rupesh Pradhan. So next slide please. So especially my topic is on future of Science Museum and Science Center. So subtheme is science communication in hilly, remote and less accessible regions. Since my Sikkim is a very small state, there are so many remote places. So what we have been doing, trying to do. So since this, I have selected this topic because we have been practicing some of the science communication. We want to take science to the remote places also. We have been practicing it. So what I have been doing that I would like to share with you people. So I just want to go to the background of my institute. As you all know that it was established way back in February 20th, 2008 with collaboration with NCSM and Minister of Culture and with the government of Sikkim. It has been established. So modern expansion was there in 2020 where 3 theaters, digital planetarium and biodiversity galleries were inaugurated. And also we have an innovation hub which was functional in 2019 and was officially inaugurated in 2020. So our since our science center is located at 15 kilometers away from Gandrok at Namli. So these are the facilities we have at Sikkim Science Center. So what we have been doing to communicate science to the hilly people, hilly region people of less accessible region in our Sikkim. So there are some slides that I would like to show. Next slide. So in order to communicate a science to the hilly region, so our aim was to provide an interactive, immersive learning environment to foster a spirit of inquiry, nurture innovative talents and scientific temperament across the state. And another one is enhance formal education. As you all know that our previous speaker was also talking about NEP 2020. So yes, now the NEP 2020 has come up with a lot of ideas to how to make learning a very experiential. Also by doing it, experience it. So that way we have been engaging all our effort to the school as well. So we have been collaborating with Samagra Shiksha of our education department so that we can connect this scientific knowledge with the student. And also to popularize science in the remote places, we have been organizing exhibitions, seminars, lectures and various programs. And also we have a very for the primary and pre-primary kids, we have a this one space is also there where this primary kids come and interact, where they can learn science from very early childhood. So there is a public engagement also. So we conduct science awareness program, and building confidence is also there, because this is one of the, I think, one of the most important factor, because most of our village children, they are capable of so many things. Recently we have conducted one workshop, inter-camp workshop. So we went to a very far remote nook and corner space of Sikkim with remote places. What I observed is that especially they have that creativity, they have that knowledge, but just because of they lack confidence to come front. So because of that, they were not able to express themselves. So that I believe that one reason is that we need to build confidence in our students as well, so that we can implant the seed of curiosity in this young mind. So these are the facilities that we have, as you all know that. So with this help of these facilities, we are trying to communicate with the students, people in the remote areas. So each facilities offers a unique gateway to understand the wonders of science, from the vastness of cosmos to the intricacies of human biology and natural world. Next slide. Yeah. So this is the science park and garden of our Sikkim Science Center. So this is how the student comes and they understand the principle of physics, biology and environmental sciences. So it is a perfect blend of learning and leisure amidst natural beauty. So especially in our Sikkim, there is a less space. So I think we have a garden, so where all the, we are also, as our speaker said earlier, we are trying to build a community center in our Sikkim Science Center. So having children to come and play and interact with the exhibits. Okay, next slide. Okay, that is the unique, you can see a picture where students come and visit and explore interactive and delve into the fascinating story of human evolution, psychology and cultural development. So this gallery also offers insight into what makes us unique humans. So these are the students from a very remote places of our Sikkim. So we call them, we talk to their principals, teachers, so we always encourage them to participate. And this is an activity that I was talking about, where primary kids and pre-primary. So science is something, what I feel is that has to be planted in a very young age. The curiosity is always in that very young age. So if we ignore that age, I think the student may not be they may be very ignorant about the future things. So that's why we have this activity corner for the young kids as well. Next slide. So there is again the fun science gallery that we have been using to communicate with the remote students. So over here, the visitors engage with hands-on experience that make complex scientific principles and understandable and enjoyable, from optical illusion to physics of sound. This gallery proves that learning can be incredibly fun. So we have 3 theaters also, as we all science centers do have. So in these 3 centers, we have underwater, space adventure, and mysteries of art. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the digital planetarium we have. Next. Okay, this is a biodiversity gallery. So actually, we want to also, the students of that Sikkim students also must know about the rich natural heritage. Next, previous one. Yeah. So rich natural heritage of Sikkim. So we welcome them. So we interact with them. They learn from this particular biodiversity gallery. Next slide, please. So we have an innovation hub. So it was inaugurated in 2020 by our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Prince Kamun sir. And you can see the activities that has been taken up, where we want to build a community where the learning takes place. Okay. And another thing that we normally do is that we do the career counseling. So in our innovation hub, so we call the students from all the area from Sikkim itself, all the schools, we go to the schools, we have connection with every school head, so we welcome them for the career counseling as well. So next slide. So this is a library where students come, and the thing is that I think we all know that these days everybody is glued with this digital world. Okay, so we just want to again bring that smell of page. That young kids must love the smell of that paper. So we want to make them feel that reading habit, to develop a reading habit. So we are trying to have a library as well. So next one. So okay, now for science communication and popularization. So these are some of the activities. So there are so many activities. So I have brought over a few activities for science communication. So this is one of the activities we normally do. This is the celebration of National Mathematics Day, and 6 districts. In Sikkim we have 6 districts. So out of that 600 students where we communicate with them. So over here you can see the venues were in the 2 places. One is Center for Computer and Communication Technology, that is Kishopani. It's in the south part of Sikkim. So Namchi, Soreng and Gejing, these are the 3 districts which are very far away from Gangtok itself. So we had further that student can easily communicate. So we have made the centers over there, and the next center was Sikkim Science Center Martak itself. So we Gangtok, Mangan and Pakim students were able to come. And next. So this is again another activities we have been conducting, that is celebration of National Science Day 2022. Last year, 20th February, we had this program. So you can see in the paper as well. 300 students participated in this particular day. So another thing is that we celebrate National Technology Day as well. So, and 180 students participated during the final day on the National Technology Day in 2025 to participate in the various competitions. To attend the activities of Innovation Hub of Science Center, demonstration on astronomy. So actually we have got around 20 VR sets also, which has been equipped with the syllabus. With CBSE syllabus, we have software inbuilt with the CBSE syllabus, where our students come. So virtually VR, we have VR over there, so the student come and learn through playway method also. So this is the thing, you can see the picture on the very left hand side. So next slide please. So again, this is another activity we have been conducting to communicate science. So that is National Children's Science Congress 2024 and 25. So as you can see, altogether we had got 480 students participating in this particular event. So next slide please. So again, another science communication is inspired monarchs, that is we have been conducting regularly. These are the regular activities that we have been conducting, and another activity that is Mathematics Olympiad. So we go to this is kind of outreach program. So most of the students, okay, the very far remote places, so we go to them, and we want to interact with them, and we want to make them aware of this mathematical Olympiad and encourage them to participate. So this is the thing, around 3,000 students have been participating in 4th April 2025. Another one is workshop on Tor, Jod and Kabaddi se Jugaad. So this is the very thing that we want to do. So everybody is very boring with that book knowledge. So what we do is that we call students, and we want to make them see just not a home appliances, not only machine. So beyond that cover, we want the students to see the principle of science working behind that covering of that home appliances or electronic devices that they normally use. So these are the activities that we normally do. Next one, and we have also IR sensor enabled robotics car in Innovation Hub. This is the thing we have been doing. Next one. Yeah, recently this was very this month itself, 7th February 2026, 10 IS officer training 2025 batch visited Sikkim Science Center. So that also I had Okay, recently, this is very interesting. Recently, we had a
You have 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 4 days winter camp for young innovators. So, especially in this particular workshop, we had under 2 things, that is physical principle behind the home appliances, how the home appliances work, and we also had hand-on experiment with the students. They were experiencing they were opening all the home appliances, and we were trying to help them to see what is inside their home appliances. And another thing was beyond the principle of flying drones and flight. So we were on this very topic. We had a 4 days winter camp. So these are the details of our staff. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the ongoing and future program that we are having. So in partnership with the Education Department for visit of Science Center by school under NEP 2020. So we are working on this. And another ongoing and future program is that DPR has been submitted to Ministry of Culture, Government of India, under scope for upgradation of Science Center, and proposal has been submitted to Government of Sikkim for launching exhibition van for outreach the rural schools. So this has been going, and we have submitted the proposal as well. So another thing is that identification of land for establishment of Science Center for Namchi, Soren, Gazing District is completed, and approval from the government is waited. So this is the thing that we have been doing. Okay, thank you with this.
Thank you, Ms. Rupesh, for your presentation and about the activities of the Sikkim Science Center. If we have questions at the end, as I told you. Now we have the last presentation of this session by Dr. Piyush Joshi. He is in charge Regional Science Center, Dehradun, and also scientific officer of the WASP. And Piyush, please. 15 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, first of all, I would like to welcome you all to this Devbhoomi Uttarakhand and to the Almora specifically. So, last year we were just discussing कि हम इसको अल्मोड़ा में करेंगे या हम इसको देहरादून में करेंगे. So, नवीन जोशी insisted कि नहीं हम इसको अल्मोड़ा में करेंगे क्योंकि ये सेंटर हमारा अभी रिसेंटली 2 साल पहले इनॉग्रेट हुआ है. So, we think कि आप लोगों को एक थोड़ा सा चेंज ऑफ दिया जाए और थोड़ा सा आप लोगों को हिल्स की तरफ को लाया जाए. So, we decided कि हम इसको मानसखंड में करेंगे और इसमें हमारे डीजी साहब का पूरा सहयोग रहा है और सर दुर्गेशपन सर का पूरे सहयोग और मार्गदर्शन की वजह से हम आज इस प्रोग्राम को यहाँ पर सक्सेसफुली कंप्लीट इनॉग्रेट कर पा रहे हैं. कंप्लीट तो 2 दिन में होगा. सो नाउ स्टार्टिंग विद द टुडेज प्रेजेंटेशन, आई हैव आल्सो टेकन द सेम थीम एज ऑफ आवर सिक्किम काउंटरपार्ट हैव टेकन. Because we are from the hilly state, so the science communication in hilly and remote areas and less accessible regions. So in this presentation, I will be talking in English and Hindi both languages because कुछ लोगों ने कल कहा कि अब हिंदी में देंगे तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. But it will be my pleasure. I will be giving both in Hindi and English. So second slide. So the background is in all the hilly states we have the problem as the geographical terrains are there, so it is very difficult to move from one place to other and have a science center in one region and moving from other region to science center. It takes lot of time. So many regions are hilly and less accessible. Remote areas are there. Limited exposures of the scientific infrastructures are there. What UCOST is doing? UCOST is aim to bridge the science education and an outreach gap will be reduced by all these activities I will be discussing. What is the need of the work? We need to have decentralized centers, decentralized science and innovation activities to the remote areas. We are already having some science centers, good science centers with the help of NCSMs, which are already established in the state, but we are now moving to the remote areas. And last one, the need to strengthen the scientific temperament by developing the innovative culture to the village level, to the last village in our state. So, objectives of the Science Center, as we all know, the public engagement, educational objective is there, and community outreach is there. Next, please. Now, what we have done in our Uttarakhand state, we have come with the concept of STEM lab that we have given the name Jigyasa Kaks. Now, what are these Jigyasa Kaks doing? We are having established the Jigyasa Kaks in all 95 blocks. We are having a 95 blocks in our state. So we have established the Jigyasa Kaks in all 95 blocks. Here, the students get the hands-on learning environment apart from the school activity. In the Jigyasa Kaks, they go and do the hands-on learning activity. The facilities are robotics, coding, electronics, and experiential learnings are provided there. Training programs for the teachers as well as students, because ultimately the teachers are going to mentor the students, so the teacher program is also there. And encourage the inquiry based on experiential learning is given in the Jigyasa Kaks. Secondly, now the key benefits of the Jigyasa Kaks is we strengthen the understanding the science technology concept, promote the creativity within the students, encourage the participation of innovation in the research project, support the NEP which we are seeing from early speakers, building the strong foundation on the STEM careers. So what we are having this STEM Jigyasa Kaks, and we are monitoring these STEM Jigyasa Kaks, how these are going on in all the places by having a GIS location in that. The mentor is going, he is having a GIS device, and he will be moving with the GIS device, so we can monitor them from our center that where today the training is going on. So this is the STEM labs which we have inaugurated. We have 95 schools and we have developed in all the villages, all the blocks. So mentorship program for last 1 year we are providing 95 STEM labs, and we have given the mentorship for 1 year to all these schools. So that there should not be like that we have हमारे पास STEM की लैब तो है लेकिन हमारे पास मेंटर नहीं है. बहुत जगह देखने में आया कि STEM की लैब हमने दी है और वो बंद रखी हुई है, कोई चलाता नहीं है, नो टीचर नो प्रिंसिपल टेक द इंटरेस्ट इन दैट. So we have provided the mandatory mentorship. ये मेंटर क्या करता है, स्टूडेंट्स को भी आप मेंटरिंग करेगा और टीचर्स की भी मेंटरिंग कराता है, सो दैट दे कैन ट्रेन एज अ मास्टर ट्रेनर फॉर द STEM labs. So these are the details. In each district we have a number of school STEM labs. You can see in Almora itself we are in 12 STEM labs. Dehradun 10, Pithoragarh 8. All the districts are in total 95 STEM labs are already being established. Next, please. Now, similar, out of the museum we have gone with the help of the lab on wheels. So many places in our hills, वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा access नहीं है, labs नहीं हो पाती बच्चों के पास, बहुत से सरकारी schools हैं. So हमने ये टारगेट किया कि हम जो है labs को लेके स्कूलों तक जाएंगे. इसमें हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने काफ़ी सहयोग किया और हमें अगस्त्य फाउंडेशन के थ्रू हम लोगों ने इसको हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट तक इसमें हमने पहुंचाया. सो हमने इसमें क्या किया, मोबाइल साइंस लैब जो 13 डिस्ट्रिक्टों तक पहुंची है, इक्विप्ड विद मॉडर्न साइंटिफिक एग्जिबिट्स एंड इक्विपमेंट्स. एट लीस्ट 150 लैब इक्विपमेंट्स एक्सपेरिमेंट वी कैन डू विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस. रिमोटली लोकेटेड स्कूल तक हमने इसको पहुंचाया है. Promote accessible and inclusive learnings for the science education and conduct demonstrations, experimental science fairs हम इसकी मदद से करते हैं, जहाँ भी हमारा होता है 3 महीने में एक बार एक फेयर किया जाता है जिससे पूरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट से हम बच्चों को उसमें इन्वॉल्व करते हैं. Role enhance scientific awareness, provide exposure and real life scientific applications, support स्कूल कैरिकुलम, स्कूल के कैरिकुलम के साथ हम इसको मिला के चलते हैं. ये नहीं कि हम कुछ अलग पढ़ा रहे हैं, हम वही जैसे क्लास 6 के बच्चे में एनर्जी वाटर इसके ऊपर सेम उन्हीं का हम कॉन्सेप्ट लेके उनको उस पर उसी के एक्सपेरिमेंट्स उनको करवाते हैं. Encourage the curiosity and innovations by the innovation program we used to promote these activities, and strengthen the science communication at the grassroots level by inviting the student either to our centers or taking the expert to their location and do the science fairs. Presently, 13 mobile labs are there across the state, and 28,619 students from class 6 to 10, about 260 schools have been already benefits by this initiative which we have taken. Now, the Sikkim partner has already said that we are also coming with a Science Innovation Center in all the 13 districts. The work have already processed, DPR is in process, and we will be coming soon with the 13 science centers. This will be decentralized centers like Manaskand is there, Champawat Science Center we are already working out. Like similarly, Science City with the NCSM collaboration we are coming with it, Dehradun. We are having a planning to have a 13 remaining 10 district centers with the district centers will be there. Provide incubation support for the students, facilitate research and prototype development, provide local problem solving and district level innovation ecosystem it will be creating. Same like we are having in our RSCs, all the exhibits, galleries, door, everything will be the same type. So we will be having prototype small models will be created in all districts so that everybody can be benefit of the time. now with the future, we are coming with the AI labs in each centers and science communication radio, which we are coming. In these centers, we are planning to have these AI labs for delivering the technologies and communicating the radios to the remote hilly areas. We are planning to come with Hindi and local language as well, so that it can reach to the maximum to the layman also in the hills. Like AI development, we are coming out with, we are encouraging students to develop some AI preparatory models for the landslides, cloud busting, forest fire, which we are having the common local problems in our hill states. And with the support of the radio-based early warning system can be given. The radio communication system will be great for both the ways, for the science communication as well as for the preparedness for the disaster and all those things. The latest information in this field. The science, the skill development of the training youth and sharing of opportunity, both way will be going on with the AI as well as with the radio community. And together the promotion of the spread of knowledge is there, and protection of environment and traditional knowledge will be done through this radio activity. This is the community radio, the science community radio as well. We have already inaugurated it in Dehradun, so soon we will be opening it same in Manaskand and Sampawa Science Center. Similarly, we will be increasing next year. The impact of science outreach in Uttarakhand, the improved scientific literacy has been seen, increase in the student access to the STEM education, to strengthen innovation and the entrepreneurship skill we are trying to build in the young students, boost the socio-economic development through the scientific intervention, future-ready scientific workforce we are going for this one, science communication in the rural and remote area we are planning, and enhance the innovation and research culture at the grassroots level. So how we are doing it? As I have already informed, STEM, Lab on Wheels, Innovation Festival, Sivan Jantar Vigyan also we are organizing. So all these activities, and what we are doing, we are monitoring, we are taking the note, we are taking the feedback from the principals, from the students, family members, so that how we can improve or where the gap we are having, so that we can fill that gap. So we can have the reach to the last person or last student in the village. Conclusion and way forward, the UCOS initiative will transform the science education and the landscaping, collaborative approach for the school, institutes and community. We are also, in the morning session, we have listened that we will be doing a networking. We have already started doing the networking within the state with different ICL institutes, CSR institute, IIRS, DRDO. So all these we are coming up, and we are also organizing Innovation Festival on 27-28 February each year, so that the relation and the collaboration between all the departments will be there. And as informed earlier, the Science, Technology, Innovation Policy has already been approved by the government. So we are having all these things, either building infrastructure and going for the innovation center in the districts, all have been applied in that one. Focus on inclusive or accessible sustainability, continuous capacity building is there, and knowledge-driven Uttarakhand we are planning, so that we can come with a knowledge-driven Uttarakhand. So these are the science corridor which we are existing right now. We are working on existing the Maharashtra which we are right now sitting here. Champawat Science Center will be coming out with a beautiful location there. Science City Dehradun already in the halfway. District Science Center, Innovation Centers already we have taken off with these projects. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piyush. I think I'll request my colleague to summarize in 2-3 minutes what all has happened. From my side, a role in national education policy the science centers can play, the future direction using technology, and integrating society and democratizing science, and to how you can reach out to the remote areas, Dehradun experiment. So these have been the focus of this session, and I would request, but I'm not going to do this because he's going to do that on my from our side. So I'll request to give a short summary of this session, which has we had 5 presentations.
Respected Chair, Dr. Sir, all the panelists, all the dignitaries from across the country. It was a wonderful panel discussion. So first, since the time is very less, I will just sum up each speakers in 1 or 2 lines only. The first speaker was Chandra Sharma from National Science Center, Delhi. The director. So he talked about contribution of science centers as per the new education policy. So it's giving four talk on four things: philosophical alignment, which is a multidisciplinary approach for well-being of a child apart from our regular education. Pedagogical linguistic, importance of linguistic, talk about the importance of mother tongue, Sanskrit, and institutional structure. So he emphasizes on large center of learning, especially universities in all the districts. That is what they have emphasized. And experiential learning is an important aspect. He said that chalk and talk is boring, but experiential learning enhances the grasping capacity of the students and the learners basically. So experiential learning should be across science centers, since this cannot be treated in the school level. So that is what he sums up. And thank you, sir. I really appreciate for your insights on these panel discussions. And second who was speaker is our Mr. Umesh Kumar, Rastogi Director, NCSC Mumbai. He was talking about looking back to look forward, transformation of science communication from the past to the future. So he has encompassed a wide range of activities, how it can be done, still from social media to science communication, has established itself as a bridge between scientific community and the general public. And he has talked about SciComm, and he has touched upon ancient history of communications. Debate is a way of sharing ideas and knowledge, practicing of recording scientific findings, book printings, communication in the ideas of diagrammatic forms. And he has got peer review as a modern way of presenting ideas, sharing of ideas or scientific findings, photography and posters, informatics, infodemic. He has talked about the modern days internet, encyclopedia for online, and then he touched upon the tech boom on our latest technology, that is mobile. And he has touched upon the cutting-edge technology of the 21st century from exhibitions to ecosystem. And he has informed about latest with state-of-the-art science center. This is coming up in Singapore in July, right in 2027. So to sum up his deliberation, see what it is his opinion that science center must continuously evolve with real-time data analysis. So it must relate to visitors' footfalls. All the data analysis can improve how the science centers can be improved in the future. So there was all about our speaker number 2. And speaker number 3 is Pinavamsi Inangati from Parang Science Center. He has said he is from Genji, and his perspective looking on the life is a bit different from the maybe the other Gen Y or whatever. So he is saying that footfalls has reduced drastically in the science center. As per science center, each science center, looking in the numbers of the science center worldwide, the number of footfalls may be high, but then looking at each science center, the numbers have been drastically reduced, and how to improve it. So in the world overloaded with information, where do science centers are in this case? That is what he is concerned. And he said the science center should be like the ancient temple, where there was vast knowledge, archival and knowledge is stored. It should be a place where one should come to problem and learn, not only learn and then solve the problem. That is his summation about what the science center is. And thank you, Mr. Innovati, for your very effective delineation. And next is Mr. Rupesh Kumar Pradhan, Deputy Director, Sikkim Science Center. He has talked about science communication in Hindi, a remote and less accessible area. And he has emphasized on interactive and immersive learning on how to bridge the gap or how to reach out to the remote areas in the military like Sikkim and other northeast regions, and also in the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. And he has emphasized on doing and experimenting how that is how the students can learn and get more, in a sense, knowledge. He has talked about seminars, workshops, scientific lectures, and popularizations to reaching out to the remote places. And he has talked about facilities in Science Center Sikkim. A unique human time gallery is one special gallery he has emphasized upon. And one important thing that Sikkim Science Center doing is career counseling for students, which is really encouraging activities. And our last speaker was Dr. Piyush Joshi from the in-charge Regional Science Center, Dehradun. He has emphasized on remote what the UCOS, Uttarakhand Council of Science and Technology, has been doing. So they have established STEM lab. This has emphasized on the STEM lab Jagasa Pulse in 95 blocks. They have been providing trainings on activities, hands-on activities in electronics and other areas. And they provide strong foundation for STEM careers for the future of the students. And they have been mentoring. And making master trainers for STEM lab for both teachers and students. And they have lab on wheel to visit the remote locations to further bridge the gap of the geographical divide. So District Science and Innovation Center in 13 districts, AI lab in these centers, and enhance innovation research among students and community. He also has said that science and technology policy for the state of Uttarakhand has already been published. So we would be happy if you can share that. So on actually this is still on the path of making the policy. If you can share it, we would be happy. So this is the all I summarized for all the speakers, and now we will. And finally, thanks to all the speakers for this wonderful session.
Thank you, Mr. Mingyan. If you say without asking a question, you can't go to lunch. So you are requested to ask questions to the speaker, because if you have any one of you. Yes. Take this microphone. To whom you have to address?
Yeah. My first question to
First your address.
my name is Somen Ghosh. I am curator in Design Industrial and Technological Museum, Kolkata. My first question is Vijay Shankar sir, regarding this ADP implementation in kind of science center setup. So what is your idea regarding this? For the kind of science center should supplement the formal education system through ADP kind of curriculum-based activity, or should have some kind of facility for the without any boundary regarding the Indian knowledge system. This is one. And second question to Ms. Kumar sir is that basically.
Please ask your question in brief. We said that.
The new education policy already carved out some segments which are exclusively for the waiting for to be addressed by the science centers. So if you can go through that, it's already mentioned as I reflected during my presentation, Douglas days. So what would happen during that Douglas days? What kind of experiential exposure that you provide, what kind of interactive learning that you provide to students. That is where the role of science centers are exclusively checked out. We need to go through in detail. We need to work very hard in understanding the requirement, because it's very difficult after doing PhD or master degree go back and read 6 standard to 8 standard books. Very difficult task, but we have to.
Okay, any other question? Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Naveen. Dr. Piyush, my question is just since Uttarakhand government is giving emphasis on STEM education and by setting up the labs, we say some to have the innovation labs, and we are also having numbers in setting up those innovation hubs and similarly for STEM lab. For giving the training to the mentors of the innovation labs or the STEM labs, what strategy do you introduce for that?
It was a nice question, because initially when we are planning to have a STEM labs, so we are thinking we will just simply giving a STEM lab to all the schools. But with the guidance from Dr. sir and with the initiative which we have taken from our government, we have taken the STEM labs from some STEM robotics companies there. We have taken them and we have asked that you provide a mentor to each of the labs, so that for at least 1 year. We have incorporated in the MOU which we have done with them. So you have to provide the mentor for each lab for 1 year at least. So it will be inbuilt in that cost of budget which they have provided.
But the mentor, whether they also given any specialized training to train the students?
They take the mentor to provide the specialized training and for the specific exhibit which they are having, which they are handing over to us. So that those exhibits and those experiments, that mentor used to provide to our teachers, so that teachers can take it further. After 1 year, then teacher will be able to have a guidance to the student. This way we will do that.
Can I add something to this? Yes. Can I add something? Just like that. See, because Vijay sir, because I simply liked it, the whole discourse. What we are at the moment trying to do is we are taking these science centers to the village level, to the block level, everywhere. Like reaching, taking it to the unreached so far. So that way we have our pedagogy is also like that. So we have these mentors and especially from the local vicinity, from local universities, colleges, and then they have been trained accordingly, so that also in local dialect, other things, and in tune with local surroundings. That's what we are doing. Very interesting things are from Delhi and from Mumbai perspective, because we have one set of this thing is from metros, other things, and those centers entirely different needs, requirement, other things. And one is because this session is important because difficult geographies, be it northeast, be it this thing. So again, that kind of consortium, because be it any experiment, I was very closely looking at it. So we have to have something of that sort. Whatever some experiment is there, something, can we have a consortium? Part of these sessions, this thing can be for difficult geographies also, we can have a consortium. And similarly out here for other things, because needs are unique, needs are different. And for metro centers, the kind of clientele, the kind of learners, the kind of ecosystem they need, that is what my part is. Thank you. But it was extremely stimulating. Thank you so much, Chair, Co-Chair. Thanks.
The other thing is, yeah.
My question is regarding your democratization of your museum practices or curatorial practices. Like now we have a traditional hierarchical museum system in your museums, where you have people working in the workshops, people working on the content development. But I want to know your views, like how could our exhibitions be better if you could have a kind of co-curation involving the local communities, involving the people whom we have not heard, or involving some lived experiences. Is that could help something make our exhibitions or our galleries much more better? I want to know your views, the speakers, whoever it is. Kindly.
Comment or question?
It's my views, and I want to
All right.
get their experiences of their.
Democratization of science, technology,
Yeah,
innovation.
did you attend his presentation? Yeah. Anybody else has a question? Yeah.
So just to respond to that, I think I'm loud enough.
No, I think it will be louder if you use it.
Just to respond to that, I think doing something like having everyone does the science competitions with schools, but if a school winner of a competition gets to put their winning exhibit into your museums, it makes such an impact. It doesn't have to be profound, it doesn't have to be beautifully built, but use that as part of your curation. Every school, let them have these competitions, put them in your museums. Have a team if you want.
I have heard of your anthropological museums. Just now our DDU was also telling, where you have such kind of co-creation. You have exhibitions which have been made by the people who are actually experiencing this.
Yes.
So this kind of setup can we have in our science centers? Or in what way?
Yeah, in fact, I recently visited a tribal museum in Bhopal with Sakib. And that is an outstanding example of how community can be involved for developing a museum. The entire museum has been developed by different tribal communities. They have given the space to the tribal communities. They have set up what they do, what they practice in that museum. And that, I don't know how we can adopt that kind of system in CSM or science centers.
Maybe in science museums, we can have a section on this. On a section.
Maybe Science City can afford to give a corner to a community which can develop.
So quickly, just my quick views on this. So I think every science center should have a space dedicated to upcoming entrepreneurs, startups to come and showcase their spaces. That is one. Second thing, all the local universities and colleges. For example, we tied up with NID. Give them a space where every year the final year passing out students get to showcase their projects. And they will do it. Every 6 months it will change automatically.
That's indispensable.
Great. I think I don't want to derail lunch because I started getting indication. So tomorrow I have a session where last slide is new model, and where I want all of you to comment so that we can. One outcome of this workshop should be what is the future of model of science centers. So tomorrow's session, all these good comments will help.
We have few announcements, please. ये टैक्सी के लिए हमने एक बाहर पे वो लगा दिया है, जो लोग टैक्सी से आए थे उनके बिल्स उनको कलेक्ट करने हैं, तो they will collect it from the stall area. A stall has been installed there from the transportation department. Along with ये जो लंच का ब्रेक है, this will be only for half an hour now because we are already late. और शाम को भी सेशन में जो होगा वो 15 की जगह 12 मिनट हम दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो 3-3 मिनट वहाँ बचेंगे तो शाम को कल्चरल प्रोग्राम की टीम्स हमारी आने लग गई है. और एक स्मॉल रिक्वेस्ट है डीजी यूकोस्ट और हमारे चेयरपर्सन प्लस अलॉन्ग विद डीजी एक बुक का रिलीज होना है. प्लीज आप स्टेज पे आके इसका रिलीज कर दें. और एक कैलेंडर भी रिलीज हो रहा है. दिस इज द कैलेंडर फॉर 2500 इयर्स. दिस हैज टू बी रिलीज. हाँ, ये हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर धारावल्लभ पांडे जी आलोचित. तो इन्होंने ये स्पीकर्स और उसके साथ चेयर कोचर के साथ भी ग्रुप फोटो प्लीज ऊपर आइए. हम लोग पीछे
पीछे आके खींचो यार. थोड़ा सा पीछे है जो उधर से.
This calendar is meant for 22,000, more than 22,000 years, 22,500 years. ये देखिए प्योर साइंस. आइए इनके लिए ताली भी बजाइए. राजेश भाई कमाल के हैं।
थैंक यू।
अब देखिए हम 22,007 वाला
ताकि सेशन कंटिन्यू हो जाए।
आप 2 मिनट में बता दीजिए, 2 मिनट में आप इतना हो गया है, 2 मिनट।
ये मैंने 22,500 वर्ष का कैलेंडर बनाया है। इससे पहले मैंने ईस्वी सन का क्राइस्ट ईयर का 5,000 वर्ष का कैलेंडर बनाया था। तो उस पर लोगों की एक जिज्ञासा हुई कि इससे हमारे जो हिंदी गते होते हैं, पैठ होते हैं, उनका पता लग पाएगा या नहीं। तो मैंने कहा इससे तो नहीं लग पाएगा। तब मेरे अंदर एक इच्छा जागृत हुई कि मैं इस पर जो है हिंदी जो हमारा पंचांग है उसके अनुसार भी जो है इसको मैं इसके साथ कनेक्ट कर सकूं। तो मैंने ईस्वी, विक्रमी, बंगला और शक संवत, ये चारों जो है पूरे भारत की एकता और अखंडता के लिए पूरा मतलब 22,500 वर्ष का है, जिसमें सबको जो है एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्ट किया। अगर हमको बंगला की कोई तिथि मालूम है, उसको हमको ईस्वी सन में कन्वर्ट करना है, तो इस कैलेंडर के माध्यम से हम उसको ईस्वी सन में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं। या हमारे भारतीय परंपरा में जैसे कुंडली होती है, तो उसमें विक्रमी संवत के गते लिख देते हैं, चैत इतने गते, वैशाख इतने गते। तो ईस्वी सन में लोगों को अपनी जन्मतिथि मालूम नहीं होती है पुराने लोगों को, या किसी राइटर की जन्मतिथि निकालनी है किसी पुराने उसकी, तो हम नहीं निकाल पाते हैं। तो इस कैलेंडर की सहायता से हम उसे एक्यूरेट ईस्वी सन में जो है अंग्रेजी तिथि में उसकी तिथि याद कर सकते हैं। ये कैलेंडर जो है, इस पर मैंने पूरी 200 पेज की एक किताब भी लिखी है, जिसको मानव संसाधन विकास मंत्रालय ने उसमें एड दी थी उसको छापने के लिए, प्रकाशित करने के लिए। वो पुस्तक पर मैंने इसको बनाने का तरीका पूरा सांख्यिकी विधि से, स्टैटिकली पूरी सांख्यिकी विधि से उसकी पूरी विधि उसका वर्णन दिया है, और कैसे मैंने उसके फॉर्मूले तैयार किए, कैसे मैंने आगे एक टेबल बनाने के बाद दूसरी टेबल में गया, फिर दूसरी के बाद तीसरी में, फिर तीसरी के बाद इस तरह से मैंने उसको जो है ऐसे ही। और उसके लिए मैंने काफी मैटर कलेक्ट किया पंचांगों से। पुराने पंचांग जो है 100-150 साल के पंचांगों से मैंने मैटर कलेक्ट करके जो है उससे एक फॉर्मूला निकाला, और उस फॉर्मूले के आधार पर उसको आगे मैं बढ़ते गया। और मेरी 24 किताबें पब्लिश हो चुकी हैं। अभी अभी मेरी योग पर किताब पब्लिश हुई है, 2 किताबें। पतंजलि के अष्टांग योग का समीक्षात्मक अध्ययन और योग के प्रवर्तक महर्षि जी। इसका पेटेंट सर किया है भारत सरकार द्वारा, कॉपीराइट है, कैलेंडर भी और वो किताब भी भारत सरकार द्वारा।
अभी लोग लंच के लिए चलेंगे।
I think they are tired.
जल्दी चलो।